There is no notation, but there is a tradition, a very long tradition. So the music does evolve. It's not like it doesn't evolve. It evolves, but it evolves in a very systematic fashion. So you learn, everybody learns traditional music, and then in its current form, and then one generation takes it a little bit further, hands it over to the next generation. So because it's a long-standing tradition, you hear your own teacher, you hear other musicians of the tradition, and eventually you get a sense of the music and the tradition. The more you hear, the more you become familiar. And that is normally sufficient for you to carry on this dialogue of music with other musicians. I mean, there are some female singers like Mogubai Kurdikar, Kishori ji's mom. I've heard she was an excellent tabla player herself. So this used to be the tradition, and even now some people follow it. It just builds your intuition for rhythm and sur. You live and breathe and think the tradition all day, all night. The whole time you're just in that atmosphere. And by osmosis, you basically imbibe the tradition as it's given to you in a very deep and efficient fashion. The thing about classical music, however, is it normally has a very long-standing tradition, and therefore it's fairly mature, refined, and rich, because people have been thinking about the concepts for, in some cases, hundreds of years, and so therefore it's much more mature. There's a lot of thought that's gone behind it, and it's very refined. So that's the advantage of classical music. It's the tradition that it brings to you and the maturity that it brings to you in terms of technical maturity and also thinking and experiences, what people have experienced. Those experiences handed down, and that is very invaluable. You don't to get an experience, it takes a long time. So somebody would have experienced it, they pass it on, and so on and so forth. So it's basically the amount of time that's been spent on it, on a subject, is the advantage of classical music. It's a long-standing research that's handed to you in a fairly short amount of time.